welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, a big warm welcome to you. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and I hope you're all doing well. As you can tell from the title of this video, we're talking about the new 2021 release from Britney Spears, and it's called Fantasy Intense. And this is the box here, nice pink box, and on the back there is a picture of the bottle, and it actually says on the back, daring, bolder and even more intense than the original Fantasy. So that is a claim and a half, so let's see if it lives up to what it says. So this is what the bottle looks like. Very pretty bottle. I do like the Fantasy bottles. It's a little bit darker in colour than the original one. I do have the original here. This is just a small 30ml of the original, so you can see the differences there. So I find it really strange because, as far as I'm aware, this is released here in the UK and Europe, but not yet in the US, which I think is so weird, because you would think that the US would get this before us. But anyway, I don't know, something to do with her marketing or whatever. But what the differences are essentially in this is that in the top note, they've replaced the quince. So they've taken away the quince and they've replaced it with pear. And in the base note, they've just added some patchouli. So I guess the patchouli must make it more long lasting, so that's why they're calling it intense. But I have tested this, and as far as longevity goes, I will say that I don't find it that much more longer lasting than the original Fantasy, because I have worn them both and tested them. So if I spray this one here, give it a little bit on this side. So it is very reminiscent of the original Fantasy. It's a tad less sweet, I would say. It's still a very sweet perfume, but a tad less sweet. And also, I don't think that it makes a big difference that they've taken away the quince and put pear, because there's an overwhelming kiwi smell in the opening. I will put the notes up somewhere on the screen, and yeah, I still get in the dry down the cupcake and the white chocolate especially. So this is a very gourmand, very sweet, fruity fragrance. It's pleasant, it is really nice. I would say this new one is slightly more grown up than the original one, just because I think with that added patchouli, it gives it slightly more of a woodsy vibe. Not much, it's still very, very gourmand, it's very sweet, it's still quite playful and flirty, but I would say this one is slightly more grown up. So if I spray the original one here, we can just do a quick side-by-side comparison. Yeah, so the original one is more fruity, I would say, like sharper. There's definitely more of a sharpness with the original. And this one, the Intense, has a bit more of depth to it. So it's a little bit deeper and darker, a little bit more sensual. But they're both quite similar. There isn't a huge difference between the two of them from what I can tell, because when actually the fruit dissipates, which it does quite quickly, I would say the dry downs are quite similar, because I get mainly the white chocolate in the original, and I get mainly the white chocolate and the sort of cupcakey vanilla icing vibe. I get that from both of them. The only thing I would say is the original one probably doesn't have as much lasting power as the Intense, but only by a really small margin. It's barely detectable. So that being said, this is nice, I do like it, but do you need this if you have this? Probably not, to be honest, because they are very similar. You really have to kind of keep going back and sniffing them to really detect a big difference. That's just my opinion. I don't find them really different from each other. But if you're a Britney fan and you collect her perfumes, or you just, like me, you just have to be extra and have to have both, then yeah, it's worth getting it. But if you're looking for something, you know, really different or that lasts way longer, then no, I wouldn't say that this is it, definitely. But all in all, it's a nice perfume. It's, as I say, I love gourmands, so if you love sweet, fruity, cakey, vanilla-y perfumes, you're gonna like it. There's no way you're not gonna like it. It's a pretty, feminine, flirty scent, and it's nice to just throw on anytime without thinking about it. So yeah, that's all I've got to say about this one, really. Thank you very much for watching today. Please leave a comment down below. Do you own the original Fantasy and like it? Are you going to pick this one up? What do you think? It is a pretty bottle, as I said. And, you know, if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'd love to have you join the fam, the Ange fam. And until next time, look after yourselves, and I'll see you soon in the next one.